All right, so 9.2, solving quadratic equations by factoring. We're going to use the zero product property with this, which says that if two things are multiplied together, then and they equal 0, then one of them has to equal 0 as well. Okay, so if you use the zero product property to solve the equation, so this one is nicely already factored for us. The quantity of 2x minus 1 times the quantity of x plus 3 equals 0. If we break that apart and say 2x minus 1 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, and then solve the equation. So if 2x minus 1 equals 0, what do we need to do to solve for x? Plus 1. So 2x equals 1. And how do we get x by itself? Divide by 2. So x equals 1/2. All right, second solution, if x plus 3 equals 0, what do? Subtract the 3, x equals -3. Questions with that? All right. Well, now let's do that first part of it, and let's actually do the factoring. So solve the quadratic equation by factoring. So one thing we have to be careful about, what do we need to equal before we can factor? 0. So x squared plus 9x equals -20. What do we need to do to get this equal to 0? Good. Add 20 to the other side. So x squared plus 9x plus 20 equals 0. Is there a GCF? No. So we're going to do AC. So what's A? 1. And what's C? 20. Multiply those together and you get 20. And what are our factors of 20 that add to be B? 5 and 4. Okay, can we do the shortcut on this one? No? Okay. So what do we need to do? Huh? Okay, we can do the box. Let's do the box. So we have x squared plus 5x plus 4x plus 20. And then find your GCF. So across the top row, x squared and 5x. What's the GCF? 1x. 4x and 20. What's the GCF? 4. And it's going to be a positive. All right. And then first column, x squared and 4x. What's the GCF? 1x. And 5x plus 20. What's the GCF? 5. So now our factored form, x plus 4 times x plus 5, and that equals 0. And now to solve, we're going to break it apart into our two equations. X plus 4 equals 0. X plus 5 equals 0. So if x plus 4 equals 0, what do we need to do? Subtract 4, so x equals? -4. And then x plus 5 equals 0. What do we need to do? Subtract the 5. And x equals -5. Okay. Questions on that? Yes? What other shortcut? What do you mean? Yes. Okay. I think you were on the right path. So yeah, Evan, you finished that up. So yes, we could have jumped straight to this factored form. We could have gone straight to this because A was 1. Okay, we didn't have to use the box. Okay, because notice these factors, 5 and 4, match what we have in those parentheses. And we can only do that when A equals 1. Okay. All right, let's look at B. 3x squared plus 27x equals 0. Are we already set equal to 0? Yes, so we're good there. So then we need to look, is there a GCF? Yes. Okay, what is it? Good. So a GCF of 3x, so we're going to factor that out. What's 3x squared divided by 3x? Careful, just 1x. And then what's 27x divided by 3x? 9. Okay. Can we factor or simplify that inside of that parentheses, the x plus 9 any further? No. So now we need to break this apart and set it equal to 0. Okay. Here's probably the most missed problem. Okay. Because you can't figure out how to break it apart. So if you need to, put some parentheses around this 3x. Okay. For some reason, since there's no parentheses, we get stuck and we don't really know what to do. So we're going to break this apart. 3x equals 0 and x plus 9 equals 0. Okay. So now, if 3x equals 0, how do we get x by itself? Divide by 3. And what's 0 divided by 3? 0. 0. And x plus 9 equals 0. X equals -9. Subtract the 9. And x equals -9. Good. Okay. Questions with that? All right, last question we have, I believe, is a word problem. I think it's the very last one. All right. So the unshaded area inside the figure to the right is 612 inches squared. Use this fact to write an equation involving x, then solve the equation to find the value of x. Okay, so we know this inside rectangle is 612 inches squared. Well, how do we find area? Length times width. Okay, area equals length times width. We know the length and the width of the outside rectangles, right? We know, I'm gonna zoom this in. The outside length is 38 inches and the outside width is 22. But we want to figure out what's this length on the inside. Well, how thick is that border? X. So if we look at that length, how many widths are being taken off? So looking at this whole length, we know this whole length is 38 inches, right? But to find this inside, we need to take off the border on the left and on the right. So how many times are we going to take that off? Twice. So this inside length is 38 minus 2x. And then we're going to do the exact same thing for the width. So we know the whole width is 22. Take off the two borders. So what would the expression for the width be?
22 minus 2x.
22 minus 2x. Okay. So now we can plug in what we know. We know the area is 612, which equals our length, 38 minus 2x, times our width, 22 minus 2x. And then we want to solve. Okay, so if we want to solve this, we need to be in standard form and we need to be equal to 0. So how do we multiply two binomials?
FOIL.
FOIL. So if we FOIL this, all right. So that 612 is, we're just gonna leave it there. So we have 38 times 22, which is 836. Then what's 38 times negative 2? Negative 76x. What's negative 2x times 22? Negative 44x, good. And what's negative 2x times negative 2x? Positive 4x squared. Okay. Now let's go ahead and move that 612 over. So we know we want this to be equal to 0. And then I'm going to also write it in standard form. So what would come first?
4x squared.
Good. 4x squared. And then negative 76 minus 44 is negative 120x. And then 836 minus 612 is positive 224. And now we're just doing the same thing we have been. Okay, so first, is there a GCF? What is it? 4. Okay. Okay, so if we do that, we have 4. Open our parentheses. What's 4x squared divided by 4? X squared. Negative 120 divided by 4? Negative 30x. And 224 divided by 4? 56. All right, now if we factor, we're going to find the factors of 56 because our A value is 1. To add to be negative 30. So what multiplies to be 56 that adds to be negative 36, or sorry, negative 30? 2 and 28. But to get negative 30, they both need to be negative. We can use the shortcut because A is 1. So this factored form, 0 equals 4 times the quantity x minus 2 times the quantity x minus 28. And then set it equal to 0. Here's the one thing, 0 equals 4. Does that even matter? No, because there's no x. So we don't have to worry about that. 0 equals x minus 2. And 0 equals x minus 28. So x minus 2, what does that mean x equals? 2. And x minus 28? X equals 28. Okay, but then you need to kind of look at this. Bless you. What was our maximum width? I'm going to zoom this in again. What was the width of the whole side? 22 inches. So can this path be 28? No, because that right there is bigger than the width that's given. So what is the width of the path? 2. Because this is bigger than the given width.